Hi everyone, and welcome back to Comp 3340. Today's lecture is Introduction to PHP. As we agreed before, at this stage I'm expecting all students to know how to program in general. Specifically, I'm talking to non-computer science students. If you don't know, just please maybe show up to my office hours. Maybe I'll take you through different tutorials. The expectation that you know the basics like for statements, if statements, etc. We talked about two styles of using PHP with HTML. The first style is to incorporate PHP within HTML. Like whenever you need to access PHP for small thing, maybe you just open the tag, um, like call the function you would like to call PHP, then close it. Or the other way around, you may have the code in PHP, and from time to time you can just print the HTML uh, item that you would like to print. So this is just a hello world. I'm expecting that you guys, well, when you do lab 2, you'll be able to know how to, how to use PHP within my admin. In my admin, oh, sorry, not my admin. We go back to file manager, to my web, I mean. In my web, we agreed to have to authenticate. Okay, we have public HTML. Yeah, we go for 60, 33, 4, 33, 4, yeah. And maybe in examples, you may create code. We may call it, go to examples. We may call it new. If you create a file, we call it hello world, hello world.php. Create it. Yeah, here it is. Edit the file, paste your code from slides. Just the opening tag in PHP and the question mark are mandatory. It's the only mandatory part out of the opening and the closing part. If you have uh, other things to do, then you need to close. Maybe if you're calling other HTML code, let's say h1, or maybe another div, then in this case you need to close the PHP part. But if you are at the end of the file and you don't want to include any other things, you can just leave it. So it's optional. Sometimes it's required if you need to continue with other things, like maybe opening HTML tag or maybe opening another PHP. But I mean, I just, if you have another PHP, you may just include it here. To comment on PHP syntax, we need to end any statement with a semicolon. So you may define a variable var1, and maybe you define another variable, etc. var2. Then each statement has to be ended up with semicolon. Now let's talk about the other way. I told you that we can use HTML. Maybe you're coding for HTML, mainly you're doing HTML design. Here I'm just gonna write something maybe simple, and maybe you have a body in your code. Here maybe div1, maybe hello, hi, etc. Maybe, yeah, For simplicity here, I just maybe need to have to call PHP code, since I need to close it because I'm going back for HTML. Here I need to close the PHP part. So look at the coloring now. Yeah, without it, PHP compiler will start PHP tag and come in here. That's fine. And we'll start this tag. There is no such a tag in PHP. So since I need to continue back with HTML, I need to close the PHP. Hello world. Yeah. Let me save it and refresh it and see how it looks like. Yeah, the first hi hello or hello hi is HTML. The second one is also HTML, but it was written by PHP. Yeah, this is just how to include HTML and PHP or the vice versa. Going back to the slides, here on the slides it was telling us that it's okay not to have PHP. It's an optional, but it's better to have it for many reasons. One of them is if you have it PHP small letter, then it will be compatible with XML. It can be a shareable code, as it can be compatible with XML. So having PHP here will make it compatible with XML. The structure of PHP, the comments, like Java, we have excuse me, we have two types of comments. Double slash is good for one line. Maybe if you like multiple lines, then I suggest you to use opening the comment side and then closing it as here. It's very handy to have a comments. I'm pretty sure most of you they do. We need the comments because it makes it understandable. You can understand the code yourself when you come back after a year or two, and the others can read it as well. Yeah, so it's good for you and your teammates maybe. Yeah, the basic syntax is similar to Java. It's a Java-like syntax. We have semicolons at the end of each statement. If there is no semicolon, the compiler will continue and most likely will end up with a syntax error. The dollar sign, the dollar sign is an optional. It's optional symbol should be added to the beginning of the variable. So all the variable should, not must, should have dollar sign, while it will improve the performance. This is how interpreter of PHP works. So if the interpreter encounters dollar sign, it's like, oh, thank you. Oh, that you will know for sure that this is a variable, so it parses faster. It parses faster, yeah. The variable naming, it must start with the letter alphabet, or it can also start with underscore. Sorry, that's after the dollar sign. So after the dollar sign, the next letter can be either underscore or alphabet small or capital letter. That's fine. But be careful, it's case sensitive. Yeah, case sensitive. So for PHP, dollar sign cat with capital C does not equal dollar sign cat small. So yes, it's case sensitive. Uh, Variable names must only contain alphanumerical, means either A to Z, A to Z, capital, or 0 to 9, or underscore. They cannot have spaces. Maybe this one cat is nice cannot be a variable. Why? Because it has two spaces. So just remove the spaces. Yeah, etc. Yeah. Moving to variables data types. In PHP, we don't explicitly define the data type. We don't do like, in Java, we say integer x. That means we're defining a variable x as integer. Here we only mention it for the first time, and once we initialize it, it will take the data type of what we initialize it as. For example, here my counter equals 1. My counter now is an integer variable. Here count equals 17. Since 17 is integer, count will be integer. Amount equals 1.5. 1.5 is a float, so amount will be a float. Similar to the string, now my string is a string data type variable. Similar to array, my array equals array of these strings. 1, 2, 3. String variables. We define a string variable, then assign the string to it. What's a string? A string is just a group of characters. They're sorted in order, F, R, E, D, Smith, etc. Here's just an example of string variable. It's just a match where you have a small piece of paper and written a name on it. Like if you like to see what's in username, then you need to open it and look at it, right? That's similar here. Username has a value in it, which is Fred Smith. Now, if you print username, you're printing the value. It means like you're opening it and showing the piece of paper with the value. So username, if you assign Fred Smith to it, and then you echo a username, then PHP will print Fred Smith. You can assign a string to another string. Now the value in username is Fred Smith here. We assign Fred Smith, right? So when we assign username to current user will take the value of username, which is Fred Smith. So if you echo current user, PHP will print Fred Smith. Two-dimensional array. In PHP, you may define two-dimensional array as array of arrays. So it's array of what? Of rows. Here I need to define this two-dimensional array, and just like in this row we have O at the column 1 x x. Then I would say it's the array where the first element is the first row. Array of O x x. And then for the second row will be array x o o. The third item in the array, in this array, is array of x x x o o. For row and columns, we start with 0 0. It means this guy is 0 0. This guy is in row 0, column 1. This guy is in row 0, the first the first row, which is 0, and in the third column, which is 2, because we start the column also from 0 1 2. So we say the array OXO, where the row equals 1, start 0 1, should be in this row. Now it says column number 2 in this row, so it's 0 1 2. Well, figure it out yourself. It should of course return all. We have arithmetic operators plus addition, variable j plus 1. As an example, here we have minus, subtraction, variable j minus 6, multiplication, division, modulus. Plus plus means increment 1 or add 1 to j, to variable j. and minus minus means subtract 1 from J, similar to Java or C++. Here, assignment operators, we have equals, something like what we used before, J equals 15, plus equal, it means add to the variable, add to the left side of the equation, the right side. So here it means J will equal J plus 5. Assign J plus 5 to J. Minus equal, similar, it means if you say J minus equals 3, it's actually J equals J minus 3. Similar to multiplication and division. Here for strings, dot means concatenation. So it means J dot equals K, means the string J will equal string J concatenated with K. So dot equals means equals the variable at the left side concatenated with the variable at the right side of the equation. Modulus equals, it's similar, it means J equals J modulus 4. We'll move to comparison or logical comparison operator, sorry. Comparisons here, if I say, if you have something like if x equals 4, or if j equals 4, here I'm questioning whether j equals 4 or not. This statement should return true if j equals 4, otherwise it will return false. Not equal, here, if j not equals 21, this statement will return true if j is not equal to 21. So if we say if j is 22, for example, it will return true because 22 is not equal to 21. Greater than, less than, of course, they also return true, false. Greater than or equal, if j greater than or equal 15. If j equals 14, this statement is false. If j equals 15, then I'm asking, does or is j greater than or equal 15? Yes, it will return true. If j equals 16, also return true, etc. Similar to less than or equal 8. Sorry, I'm just slide reading because, as I told you before, I'm assuming that you know all these concepts. Logical operators, and we have and. But what's the difference between this and this and? Just to talk about and here, it means uh, this statement and this statement. We know that in order to the full statement to work, this guy has to be true and this guy has to be true as well. But and here, it means it's just lower precedence than this and or this or. This and, sorry, and always have precedence over or. So for example, if you have something like statement X and Y and the other and, which is Z, here I have two operators. This guy has higher precedence than this guy. So this statement will be, will be executed first, then we will execute this statement with the result with the statement. Not it makes the opposite. If this guy is true, it makes it false. X or X exclusive mutual. Here, for example, ammonia by itself is safe, and bleach with itself, I would say, is safe. I mean, not very safe, but it's not very harmful, right? If you touch it. But here, when I add them together, if they are together, they are not safe. So XOR is true if one of them, but only one of them is there. So XOR, if I say ingredients, now, ammonia XOR bleach. If this guy is true and this guy is false, true, false is okay, will be safe. False, true will be safe too. False, false, we don't have ammonia or bleach, is safe, right? We can live with that. Well, if it's true and true, if they are together, then this statement will not be working and will be typing its hazard, something dangerous. We cannot have true XOR true. We cannot have ammonia and bleach together. That's what XOR all about. Conditional statements. Sometimes we need to take a different actions for different conditions or decisions. Um, yeah, I'm assuming all of you guys are aware of if statements. If else, if a statement, if only want to take one action, if some certain condition is true. If else, it means if some certain action is true, you'll do it, you'll take a decision. Otherwise, you'll take some other decisions. If else, if else, this one give me that will say the flexibility to take different actions for different conditions, and maybe at the end they have else for maybe the otherwise or default action, default condition. Sorry, a switch is like can verify, validate some variable and take different actions based on the value of that variable. Examples here. I have this function date d. We'll talk about date function later on the class. This guy, it will return the it will return the name of the day. So today I'm registering. I'm recording this class on Thursday. So if I say d equals the function date with d as a parameter, it will return Thursday. Now, this condition will only be working if d equals Friday. So for today, this statement will not be working because today I'm recording this video. Now it's Thursday. So the return value here is Thursday. Is Thursday equals Friday? No. Say this guy will not be working. This condition only will be working one day a week, which is Friday. Only on Fridays, this echo will print this statement. So now, just maybe to add more more conditions, I can say if the day is Friday, say have a nice weekend. Maybe we're in a company, or I have this function for you guys on the classes. I'm assuming you're only working on weekdays. So during the weekdays, the default, the otherwise is have a nice day. That's the greeting for you when I see you at the end of the class, or I'm printing for you this email or this statement on the website. I'll tell you for every day, have a nice day. On Fridays will be have a nice weekend. So this is just a specific condition. If the day is a Friday, say have a nice weekend. Other working day, for example, will be have a nice day. Here, if the day is Friday, have a nice weekend. It's Saturday, or sorry, Sunday, have a nice Sunday. Else, have a nice day. So I added one more specific condition when I say else if. I have this specific condition. If the day Friday, we say have a nice weekend. Another specific one, which is else. If the day is Sunday, have a nice Sundays. The action will be printing have a nice Sunday. Otherwise, the generic or the default or the generic, call it whatever, will be have a nice day. So for the other 5 days, we'll be printing have a nice day. This slide just to remind you guys, if you need to have for a specific function more than an action, more than one statement. So here I have two statements. Then those actions should be included in the if block. It means you open the block here, curly brackets, and close it here, and you'll be taking these actions. So again, if the day is Friday, please take these two actions. That's these guys should be included in the if statements block. If it's just one statement or one action for the if, then you don't need to open and close the block. Conditional statement here, switch. I can switch, validate a certain variable, call it n for now. Then if n equals label 1, I'll take some actions. Action or actions, it can be many actions. Then once I'm done, then I break. Break means you will leave the switch statement or the switch block. The cursor will come here or the compiler. And then I have case 2 with other things to be executed. Can be more than one statement, by the way. Case 3, maybe if I have a default or generic actions, I can put it at the default. Here, for example, I have a favorite color. Fav color is a variable. I'm verify it. If this variable equals red, then it will print your favorite color as red. And then it will break. It will just move here. It will go out of the switch block. If favorite color was blue, then your favorite color is blue. Green, if this guy equals green, then this actions will be taken, or this action, your favorite color is green. Default, maybe just like your favorite color is neither red, blue, nor green. Loops, we have different loops. We have while, do while, for each. We'll talk about them. While loop. While loop will execute the code, the block of code, if this condition is satisfied. So first time the loop will come here, will ask whether I less than or equal 5. If it is, it will enter. If not, it will not enter at all. So if maybe you start from I equals 1, then first time 1, is it less than or equals 5? Yes, it will loop. Here, if you notice here, we're increasing the I by 1, and now it's 2. Once the block closes, the while loop asks again, is I still less than or equals 5? Yes, continue, continue. When it's 5, is 5 less than or equals 5? Yes, it will enter the block of code, yeah. And now I plus plus means I is 6 now, or equals 6. Now the while will ask, is 6 less than or equals 5? No, then it will not enter. So while, keep in mind, it will work 0 time if the condition is not satisfied. For example, if I set I equals 6, then this code will not be working, not even one time. So here, each time I was printing the I. So it was 1, I printed 1, then break line. BR is like enter in HTML. So remember, when I echo, I'm printing HTML. So here I'm printing the I, then breaking lines. Then next time we'll print 2, 3, 4, 5. And when it's 6, it will not print because the code will not. This code will not be working. Yeah, the number is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's the result. Do while it will do the code, then it will ask whether the condition is satisfied or not. So do while it will work at least one time, regardless of the condition satisfied or not. So it will do while the code while the function is satisfied. So what's the difference between while or do while? Do while at least will work one time, regardless of the function is satisfied or not. Sorry, the condition is satisfied or not. While no, the functions here and the while, just reminding you, the condition should be satisfied in order to run the code. Yeah, so in this case, let's say I equals 1, then I plus plus, now I equals 2. Then I'll echo, it will echo 2. Then it's 2 less than or equals 5, yes. Continue. Yeah, so it's 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. See, when I reach 5, is 5 less than or equals 5? Yes. It will continue. We'll go to the do. Now 5 plus plus means I is 6 now. It will print 6. Imagine if I equals 6 from the beginning. Then do will work. Then I will be 7 because 6 plus 1 7, right? And then the number is 7. And now it will ask, is 7 less than or equals 5? No. So I know here we started with I equals 6. 6 is not less or equal 5, but this do function, this code will work at least one time. So if I equals 6, it will print 7 and it will stop. For loop, we initialize some variable, condition for the variable, and we converge the variable into some certain case. Here, I'm initializing I equals 1. Condition for that variable is I less than or equal 5. And then I will converge this I equal 1 to the condition by increasing one time. One step at a time. I mean, I equals I plus 1. So the condition, the initialization I equals 1. And each time I'm going one step. I'm increasing one by the value of 1. So this loop will start I equals 1, yes. Is 1 less than or equals 5, yes. And then it will increase one time. I plus plus. After the increment will be after the end of the loop. So it will print 1 and then it will increase it. After we finish the code or the closing bracket of the code, it will increase the 1 to be 2, then 3, 4, 5. 5 is less than or equals 5, yes, it will print, then it will increase at the end of the loop. It's 6. Is 6 less than 5? No, it will stop. So this loop should print from 1 up to 5. Yeah, here you go. Remember, the increment or the convergence, whether increment or decrement, sorry, will happen at the end of the code. That's right away. For each, I love for each. This is like the best, maybe the most handy function in PHP. We know we're dealing with dynamic content in web. Sometimes you go to check out some items. You say, okay, I will take this combo with this drink with the fries or not. You choose different choices, and you need to send these choices as an array. If you don't know how many items in that array, for each will do the business for you. It's the best loop to deal with because here I don't need to know that you ordered one item less than five, more than five. I just like to say for all the items in the array, call them each time as value, and then you can print that value. So it's like you have an array. The array each time will have a value, right? We have examples here. For example, here I have this array. I have one, two, three. It might have four, five, six, seven. We don't know. Say for each, because I don't know how many items in it. For each x as the value, right? Because here x is the array as value, and then each time you're printing that value, it will print basically the element of the array. The value is the element. So it's element one, two, three, four. Once the loop reaches the end, which is 3, it will stop. I mean, after printing the 3 will stop. So it's very handy when you don't know the size of the array. You send the array as a block and you don't know how many items in there. Function can, or functions, they can actually bundle your business. So instead of having messy codes, too many lines of codes, you may create a function to do one task. For example, calculate salary, compute square, etc. They're not only good for bundling or packaging the functionalities, they're good actually for performance. You may create functions of PHP, and those functions will only be executed, interpreted, and executed only when you call them. So when you load the page, you don't load all these messy codes or all these businesses together. You just, whenever you need the function, you call it and you execute it. So it's kind of, you can speed up your website surfing. Yeah. Syntax of the function. To define a function, you need to type function, small letter here, and space, the function name, open bracket, close bracket. Even if you don't have parameters, you just open rounded bracket, close it, and then you have the function code between curly brackets. Yeah, the function name can start with a letter or underscore, not a number. Yeah, it's different than, please notice here, it's different than the variable. We can add parameters for more like flexibility. We can share resources between functions. Call like get some value from here, send it to that function, etc. So adding parameters will increase the variability. Now, as an example of function, we have this function that writes a name. Kai Jim Refesen. Sorry, I'm not aware of this family name, how to pronounce it. Anyway, if you look here at the name, it's hard-coded. So whenever we call this function, we just print this name. So if you call it twice, you will print it twice. So over and over the same hard-coded string. I mean, that's good, but we would like to have it more variable. I would like to send my name, my first name, your first name, any student's first name or employee, etc. So here to enhance the variability, they allow us to change the first name. So we're sending the first name as a variable, as a parameter here. We call it a variable parameter. And we're printing this parameter first. Dot. Dot means concatenation with the last name. This is good, is less hard-coded, less static, more dynamic, more variable, but still the last name, unless you're these guys all from the same family, it's good for this family, like represents, or I don't know how to pronounce it, sorry. Yeah. Yeah, this is good, but we would like maybe to increase the variability to have first and last, then you need to have first. Here they did punctuation, so they add punctuation. Here you can maybe send dot or um, question mark, etc. Maybe you can enhance it by having the family name as well, but it's okay. This guy is all from the same family name. Yeah, now going to PHP forms. Before start talking about PHP array get or post, I would like to talk about the function get and post and HTML itself. We know in HTML we can have forms. Forms, you will maybe fill application form to register in a class or for some major or some program, etc. So the form works as mailing package. Just imagine that you have a mailing package that will all be sent to the same address. We don't have address, we have something called action. The action actually it's the address. So here in this form will be sent to welcome.php, to the file welcome.php. Since I don't have the path, the HTML file here will be sent to welcome.php that is contained in the same folder of send welcome.html. So these guys, they must be both in the same folder because here I don't have path. I don't have it on the server, I don't have it on domain or even in the same server. So this code is runnable only if welcome.php in the same folder. Method equals get. Remember I told you guys this guy is like a mailing package. You add items to it, right? So it's like when you receive some package from Walmart. Like these days we're doing a lot of online shopping. So what we have a package that have many items. So whatever in the form, it's inside this package. And we said action is the address. Now the delivery method. We have two methods, one called get, the other called post. So these methods, maybe imagine it's like the courier, like you send by Post Canada or you send by DHL or you send by FedEx, etc. So here we have only two methods, get or post. In HTML, there is only two methods to send the package, the form. Those are get or post. They have different functionalities, different properties or features. Well, let's talk about it. We're going back to the get. So in order to receive any package sent by get, we need to call $get array. So $get array will receive all the sent items to the PHP page. Now we know we send them by get, we receive them by $get. So here, just like if we, to recall the first lecture, we said we have here we have client side, here we have server side. In the client side, I allowed the user to omit the name, first name, and the age. In the server side, I'll be receiving these items, this package from Get. It has how many items? It has 1, 2. Then maybe I can process them. Here I'm just going to print them. I can use them for calculation. I can use them for different processing. Maybe I can store them in the database later on. For now, for simplicity, I'm just printing the first name and then I'm printing the page. Again, since I sent these items has the name age, this one has the name, and this guy has the name age. I'm sending them using this courier, DHL. Sorry, not DHL. I meant to say DHL. It's get, right? So we're having the method get. Here we're receiving these items by name. I define them by name equals if name. Here I'm receiving them by name using or throughout the get $get array. So this array has the item if name and then it has the item age. Those guys have been sent using a get method. Uh, Properties, let's talk about properties of get method. Yeah, here we're just saying that $_get, it's a list or array. It will collect whatever coming using get element. The property of get method in HTML, basically there's two main properties. The first one is less secure, but it's good to have the variables in the link. When do I need the variables in the link? If maybe you go to one of these classified or job portals like Indeed.ca. Imagine if you're looking for a specific job, maybe software. I don't like software engineering or developer. Sorry, I have to be biased. I like more data scientist. Right, looking for this job in Canada. You may go by the city or province, maybe city of Windsor, Ontario, right? So I specify it more. Maybe go by Toronto. Hardly you find this kind of jobs in Windsor, unfortunately. So we go by Toronto. Now I specify the parameters more. So I specified, sorry, the forms item here more. And then I click find the job. Now I'm in the client side, in the HTML side. When I click find jobs, it will be sent to the backend, to the server side to be processed and retrieve for me all jobs that have the name data scientist and location Toronto, Ontario. Find jobs. So the other feature of a get method that I can have the parameters on the top or on the URL. That will help me to bookmark. Here, if you click on bookmark, you can bookmark this page. Yes, how to bookmark. Here, you can bookmark this page. So next time you come to, maybe you wake up tomorrow or the day after or after a week, you would like to look for a job, you just come and like paste or run that specific link with those specific parameters. So if you use get method, you can bookmark the link. Why? Because you will have the parameter showing at the top. This is good for classification, maybe for Kijiji, you would like to find a specific car, specific color, a specific model, etc. This is very handy for classified or for job portals, etc. But it's less secure. You cannot use it for maybe for credit card. You don't want to show your credit card here, right? On the URL. You don't want to maybe for different accounts number. So it's less secure. So it's a trade-on. You have to decide whether you would like to use Get, where your user can bookmark their like their choices, whatever they choose in the form parameters in the sorry client side, or between having it post. We'll talk about post now, but using post will not be showing here. It will be included, embedded somewhere within the head or body of the HTML. So it's just straight trade on. Get, it's handy that you can bookmark it, showing the parameters here, but it's less secure because, for example, again, your credit card will be shown here. Now that will guide us to post. In post, HTML will not show your parameters information here. Yes, you will not be able to bookmark it. Will be more secure. Your information will be invisible to the other users if they look at your computer or you bookmark it, etc. There is some restriction on the post. I know for different versions they keep changing. So anyway, this is where in the settings, we're not going through settings in this class, but for PHP settings, they are in php.ini. You may say, okay, I would like to have post maximum size equals maybe 16 megabyte, 8 megabyte, etc. So it's similar to that code, except that in order to receive those items by name, then I need to collect them using $post. Why? Simply because I used post. It's like when you ship with Canada Post or with DHL, let's say, then you need to receive your package using DHL, unless they have some maybe agreement with some other courier. But here, if you send by post, then you need to receive by post. How do I receive an item? I receive it by name. I define this HTML form item using fname, then I can receive it by fname. By the way, I forget to tell you guys that in order to be able to submit, you need a submit item. Then you need to have submit item or button, because you can say simply just say declare it as button, have a label for it, send, and then this button, it has to be inside the form so it can submit or send the form. Right? You may look at those examples. Let's look at this example here. If I say Abid, yeah, and age is something, submit. Here, Abid is 38. As you can see here, we don't have the parameter showing. Why? Because I used post. If we go back, sorry, just go back to the slides quickly. Let me go to the send using send get using get, sorry. Yeah, where it is, I believe here it is, yeah. Let me send to welcome post. No, this is post, I need get. Yeah, here, if I say Marie, maybe she's 37. If I hit send, remember now I'm using post. If you look here, I'm able to see the parameters. If name is if name and age, they were, sorry, there were both of them, there were items here, right? Items with the name, if name, and age. That's all for today, I believe. Yeah, forget about this slide. Please ignore it. We'll talk about synchronizing, yeah, your code later on in the class, so please do, don't study this slide. Just ignore it. Yeah, what else? Yeah, it's invisible when you use post. You can't write yourself. I believe you need to do, I'm not sure, the get or the post, one of them for lab 2. You need to do this slide here, one of these examples. You're going to create .html file, which is a client side where you can collect the information, fill the information, and you're going to create a server-side processor called action.php where you can receive those sent items using post or get, depends on the method, and process them. Here I'm just printing them. Later on, as I told you, you may use it to query a database and retrieve some information. You may receive it to do some, maybe some calculations, etc. I hope that was useful. Uh, Please try to do your labs.